Jordan. I'm here with Jordan.
Hello. How's it going?
Jordan's in London, England, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so we can jump right into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, where were you kind of at before we started talking?
Yeah, so we first met when I joined Internet Money. So for those who don't know, Internet Money is Daniel Favio, Cold Email Wizards, like lower ticket community program. And at the time, I was very much like defeated, I would say is the word that kind of comes through. Defeated in terms of like trying to make money online, support my family, really make a name for myself, quit my 9 to 5. I was in a 9 to 5 in HR in like a big UK organization for like 2 years, like very stifling environment. And as a creative, we'll get to what I'm doing soon, but like as a creative and like wanting to like do more than just like what like I was already qualified to do, it was a very stifling environment. So I always wanted to get out and ended up joining Daniel's program. Daniel will be another case study for Internet Money later on, if you should wants to make one. But in this case, I joined the community. It was relatively smaller at the time than it is now, and um, went through all the materials. But the main like useful part of it is the community aspect of it, right? So not only do you have all the other people who are in similar situations to you, maybe same pain points, struggles that are happening, but you also get people who support you on that way, not only in terms of the people who are above you, Daniel himself, but Trina was also in that group as the community manager. And I ramble on to say that the most valuable part of Internet Money, which allowed me to get from completely zero to like, I think I joined Client Ascension at like 8K a month. Took me like 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks or so,
Oh my gosh,
just
when I saw
implement.
your name pop up, I was like, oh, I love him.
Yeah, exactly. And like a giant part of that was the accountability, but most importantly, the clarity that Trina was allowed to gave me just in a limited like scope of what we did during just like Discord. We never even like talked at all, jumped on a call. So like even just going back and forth in DMs, voice notes, um, and just like accountability messages, making sure I was on track, making sure I was following the stuff, staying true to myself, but also giving me a clear sense of direction into um, what I needed to do next. Trina was there. It was lovely. So that's where I was before. And I joined Client Ascension. I when you do join, you get much more of like a direct access to your customer success person. It wasn't called that at the time. True, but Trina was more just like the
It was a
the
developing
person.
role.
Yeah, like just like the group mum essentially, just like but for the people who joined at the time. And luckily enough paired with Trina for that process. And ever since then, past how long I've been in since November, so like nearly like 6 months now in Client Ascension.
Yeah.
Or just like being in this network in general. Um, I've worked extremely closely with Trina in terms of just kind of further on developing myself, like the business, that type of stuff, clarity. But like, guys, 20% of it, really the giant 80% of it all is on fixing yourself and fixing your mind. Because it's very lonely doing this. It's like extremely lonely trying to like push through and go against the grain of like what your family does or what your family expects of you. No, I've got kids, right? So I'm trying to build a future for them, but at the same time, the people who I'm trying to build a future for don't understand why I'm like stressing out about this or that or whatever, or like don't have clarity on this situation, or trying to solve this problem, or I'm editing videos at this time, or I'm trying to sleep for this. And you make sacrifices. And if you're just doing that by yourself, it's extremely lonely to not only like go through that, but doubly, triply so if you're trying to go through something you don't know what the end goal actually looks like. It's like you're going through a tunnel and you can't see the end at sight. Like it's just completely dark always, but like you don't know when it's going to end. You don't know when this problem is going to end, and but you know you have to keep going because you've gone so far now. Let's turn back. You quit, or you'd be like a giant pussy for like just quitting business, let's be a normie life or whatever. What Trina allows you is that light at the end of the tunnel. Really like a sense of clarity in terms of what you need to do, what the tunnel actually is, and like how to go through it, but not from like okay, this cold email, so this subject line, like that doesn't really matter. Anyone could
I
do
don't.
that, but no one else but Trina can do is be like, hey, so like how are you feeling? Let's check in a bit and actually like pay attention to where you're at. Let's seek clarity in the situation. Let's actually understand what's going on. I've realized I answered a lot of questions there, but from that perspective, that's where I was at. And kind of that's the journey been so far. Yeah.
No, no, it's been so cool to have like a front row seat to a journey like yours like that, right? Because you have
Yeah.
that you I agree, like, loneliness isn't just having no friends or family or anyone to talk to. It's just a state and, like, a perspective state, especially,
Yes.
you lead a family, you run your own business, like, you're a man in this world, like, da, 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 like, but to have that space where you can find clarity and, like, look at shift your perspective in a way that helps you more, like, energetically and mentally, is such a I feel like it's such an underrated area for people in this
Extremely
world.
underrated because you're made to believe that everyone who you've looked up to as a mentor just like pushed through completely. That they didn't have any of the problems that you're going through right now. That they just instantly got to like 100K, 200K, 500K a month without any of these issues whatsoever. And that's a complete lie because what it looks like from the outside, one, you don't know them, and that's fine because you're only seeing what's portrayed in terms of like what allows you to get in their funnel so you can purchase their course. But it's we're all marketers. But at the same time, yeah, you don't know them, but at the same time, they will all admit this that they've all gone through these situations where, like, unless you're like super tapped in and you just like absolutely execute, you're always left stumbling. Like everyone's kind of just left stumbling. It's like, what do I do next?
It's like an internal bottleneck.
Yeah, like you bottleneck yourself, and
Yeah, and
you're in your own way.
it's intangible, so it's like, "What do I do with this? Oh, I just need to, like, suck it up," right? We
Yeah,
all have that, like, "Alright, I'm just gonna tough it out, like, I need to concentrate," or "I need to, get more driven," or "I need to focus," well, whatever it is, but sometimes it's this extra other thing,
yeah. Your
along
perception
the
limits you.
journey.
Your perception absolutely limits you. The field of view that you have, the FOV that you have, you can only see up to that point. Anything beyond that, like you don't even know is there. It's probably like it is there, like because it exists, but you actually just can't see it. So to you, it doesn't exist.
And you're not
So
looking at it
it's
with your
how
mind's
someone
eye because you don't even know where to look or what it is.
you don't even know. You don't even know. So the serious point. So when you get to when you are introduced to someone who can even just explore an alternative perspective and just be like, hey, have you considered this? That alone, like that alone is a question that anyone can ask, but no one can ask with like the sense of um empathy and care and support for your own well-being and wanting you to just win at life and provide value to others and really shine through and be who you truly are in Trina. Like that, like that is like the key part there. Because like I can just like, yeah, so have you considered this? And I could easily just be like, you fucking idiot. Like, why did you consider this? And like sometimes it can feel that way because it's an attack on like your field of view, your perception. But what clarity brings you and what Trina brings to myself at least is widening that out into like, hey, listen, like let's bring it out to like dial it back in so you can go forward. And every single conversation I've had with Trina has been a massive, if we're going to use the metaphor, like uncorking of that bottleneck that I've had within myself, be like, oh, it's this. And it's like 100% right always. Because really, you know the answer, right? For something to resonate, it has to be within you already. It's an internal vibration that can only get plucked. Like the string can only get plucked if it's in tune, right? So if someone says something to you and it's like, oh, I felt that. It's like, well, how did you feel that if it wasn't in you already? But like, what the questions, the questions and your perspective and the advice that you give, I would even go. It's not just advice. It's like the real like. Don't know what else to say, but it's not advice.
Yeah, do
The
you
the,
feel
the stuff.
I would hope that it never feels like that, right? Like,
No, it's
sometimes
not. It's not like you should like you never should. You never should people. It's like you should do this. Like no, it's more like given what we've talked about. Here's just my unfiltered opinion, like,
I'm not a
unfiltered
big fan of
perspective.
should. I'm not a big fan of should. I
Yeah,
try to
100%.
I don't
And that
the
comes through.
and the word coach doesn't resonate with me, to be
No,
honest.
it's
Like,
not. You're
even
not a
though it's
coach.
like it's like more like guide resonates more.
Yeah, because like yeah, look, guide absolutely. Because there's no way you would if you're watching this right now and you're like, okay, I need someone. I know that I'm bottlenecking myself. I know that if I had another person to talk to who could understand the situation you're going through because they've dealt with literally thousands of other people going through the same situation, like literally thousands of other guys, like literally like client ascension alone is like 300 plus people at this point. Then you've got internet money, which is its own thing. And then you've got all of money Twitter and then every other community Trina is a part of, which is fucking all of them, which I don't actually understand where it goes because the lore is like mega deep, right? I don't know the origins. I came in late, right? But as I'm only experiencing Trina at this point, like News Anchor Trina is like a life different to me. I don't get it.
Oh
But
my God, music.
out of 1,000 people that Trina's helped, she's seen everything. So like what you're able to do is like pick up on patterns of like, oh, this reminds me of this. You don't mention it or anything. But it's like there's a much more informed perspective than you would get from any other like coach or like life coach or spiritual guide or whatever that's DMing you on Twitter to like, I don't know. Like Trina's the real deal, 100%. There's no like there's like I wouldn't be on camera giving a testimonial if it wasn't the case. Like this is a case study. Like if that wasn't the case.
I
So
really
like
appreciate that.
no, I say that to say it's like yeah, it get really and with the amount of people that Trina's actually helped compared like in essence like the amount of like um just like proof there is like you can if you just ask anyone like even beyond me like like literally anyone on Twitter like hey do you know Trina of course they do because you don't like and here's another thing that came through is like you don't exist in this community for this long across this many people without being absolutely certified. It just doesn't happen. Like you don't last this long with these type of people if you're not absolutely certified with who you are. So that just like that, like if you just like take the Lindy rule out of that, the longer something's existed, the more legitimate you can actually rely on it. Like Trina's been around like for a long time in this community. And that is absolutely like credit to that. You can make get other people trying to come through, but no one has the credibility, like the cosigns, the like the certifications just from like the like and the head nods and the amount of people that like who have stories to tell about how you've helped everyone, Trina. Yeah, it doesn't come close. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
I don't even have any questions to ask you. That was so much more than I thank you so much. It's
Yeah,
so
no worries.
cool. So, so cool. Thank you so much for coming on and doing that with me. I was gonna ask, like, if you had any doubts or fears or skeptic things that ended up getting resolved, but I think I don't know.
I
I
guess like what like one doubt you do have sometimes. This is especially when I started out in internet money. It's like because you join other groups and you're like, who's this community manager? You're like, like why are they trying to hold me account? Like, like what's this? Like I know you're probably just some like Upwork Fiverr person who's cut like who they're being like paid to like come in and just like do all this type of stuff. But like you very quickly understand it's like, oh, this is not the case at all. And like you're really about this, like really, really about like actually helping people. And I can actually do it, right? So you're not just some like intern in some high ticket coaching program who is paid there to just go through the Facebook group and make sure that everyone's okay or some like low level CSM. Like it's like you're not there's not like there's not that expectation there. And you very quickly just like, oh, I actually get help. And like they actually help me and we can actually have these conversations. And that never happens in this space. It actually doesn't. It doesn't. So with you, Trina, it's much more beyond just what you expect if you like just put it just on the roll. Much more. So you gotta understand and like really go into yourself. Think, shit, I'm feeling all these pains right now as someone trying to make money online, and I'm trying to lead my life, like my family, my business, my team, myself.
you
And
do an
you
excellent
war
job
is
at.
raging. Yeah, like what war is raging on you, and you just need you need someone, but like you talk to all your other friends and they're making more per month than you in a different niche. So you feel like you want to jump over and you're like, shit. It was like, oh, complete short form videos, or like cold email. And you're like, I need someone that's like with like who understands exactly what I'm going through because they've helped thousands of people before, but isn't there to like make me feel shit for not earning like double the MRR I'm making right now. And the key good news about that is that Trina will not make you feel shit, but she will also make you double down by working with her. It's like you actually just win. Like it's just like so simple. You just win actually. So
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
not
that's what I'd
I'm
say.
not only here to make you feel good about everything that's shitty, right? Sometimes
Yeah,
it's
exactly. Like yeah, I
important
mean
sometimes it's important to
that's
feel shitty.
yeah, it is absolutely. But it's
Now they're gonna
guided.
think I bully you over here like Aiden Tiger Mama, yeah.
No, but it's guided right. But I'll say this: is like there is what's the ROI on like getting a working with Trina? You will just make more money. Like, do you want to be rich or not? Is the question. Like,
Stop
do you
being
want
poor. This was the this was the
do you want to be rich?
Daniel never
If
probably
you do,
never
like,
saw somebody working in his community like this and thought that would be an implication of stop being poor out to
yeah, exactly. It's like work with Trina because you will stop being poor. But like poor, like not poor in terms of like the actual MMR. And I think I tweeted about this a while ago. But like it's poor in terms of behavior and mindset. Like it stops you thinking like you're poor. So it's like it's an unlock in terms of the world of abundance and how the universe actually operates. Even if you're not about this like woo woo language, like or like 7 layers deep that Trina and I could sometimes go to if we needed to. Um, like very much able to adapt to where you are at, like spiritually, or and at your level of consciousness. So the energy that you're approaching a Trina with is very receptive in terms of like being able to meet you where you're at and able to guide you up or down or like wherever you need to be able to actually have it resonate and then propel you forward in what you're doing. So even if you're like that could be another hang up. It's like, oh, I'm not about this spiritual shit, or like I don't need like a guide or whatever. Or like I don't know why she's like tweeting about all this other stuff. It's like just like suspend your belief for this moment and just understand that you will just be richer if you were to, you know, it's literally it. So like
uh,
if that's the motivation, that's fine. But you will also stop suffering from the loneliness and like the just being in the deep dark tunnel that you find yourself in right now. If you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like not a civilian anymore because I'm just like working on like online money and I've earned way more money than I can ever feel like, but I don't know what I'm doing. This is very new to me. No one understands what the fuck I'm going through, even though people in the same niche as me or like in my mastermind or my community, they don't help at all because they don't actually really understand because we're all kind of just like not talking about our problems at all because we want to like put on the front and boast in the wins channel that we're making all these deals. But like really it took us 3 months to do this and we were like crying that we like our clients had left us during this time. And
I
like
appreciate
we've
that point
yeah,
because I think when you like see obviously my online presence doesn't mind positioning and I'm very much a self-expresser. And I think that maybe an assumption that comes with that is like, what do I show up and she just starts speaking this spiritual mumbo jumbo or showing me how to like do it like her? Like I don't want to do it like her, but I don't. Like it's
right.
whatever you are. So I appreciate that point.
Yes.
I think it's good. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Because it's weird. You do
Yeah.
have to be kind of showing like willing to show up and just like see.
No, but like but also it's working, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's fun.
Cool. And you feel like it's helped you in your journey and where you're at now. I mean, so Jordan was when he started his journey, you started with where you started, and then you were one of the short form kings
Yeah.
in our little corner of the internet, and now you're the creative director.
Yeah, I mean, I always was, right?
Yeah.
That's like when it came to positioning in the market, that's always how I wanted to differentiate myself. Like I just $100 million offered it. I was like, how can I charge 3K a month to do short form? Oh, I need to position it this way. Okay, cool, I'll do that then. And from like a previous experience of like personal brand creating, psychology, videography, photography, scenography, I understood that the title of creative director was something which is a bit more sophisticated than people were just offering in the moment. So when you look at the different perspectives of people, you go, okay, so this person's doing short form here. This person's a freelancer who's just doing captions. How do I do way more of people and actually like feel good about it? And that's kind of where it came from. So yeah, it came through and did that. Now I've really taken the mantle as creative director on. It's basically just like my propaganda term. It's all that's in my bio. It's what I tweet. I really like it's the domain I want to buy.
Yeah,
So it's
you
like
got to get that domain.
I need to, yes. And but so like in terms of the future and where I'm looking to take this, obviously I'm much more boutique now in terms of who I approach, who I work with. I dabble with
Jordan
a few.
doesn't even have room. I would be like plugging right now, but he doesn't have room for us.
Yeah, I don't exactly. Like join my wait list. Join my wait list. Seriously. It's just like my Google sheet because I have those.
Uh,
Um
so cool.
so it's just a case of where I'm going in the future, that's very scary, right? Because the space that we're in, it's like, well, if you're not scaling, what are you doing? It's like, well, I am scaling. I'm just kind of scaling myself. Trina's like a self scaler, right? If you want to increase, if you want to increase like your valuation at exit for yourself, then like work with Trina because you want to increase your enterprise value. Do you know what I mean? Like
Uh,
it won't necessarily be like, yeah, you'll hit 50K a month if you work with Trina, but you will be the person capable doing that. You'll be the person capable of earning $1 million a year if you work with Trina. But like, and you kind of need to be worthy of that. Daniel said this as well. Like, there's the person who hits 10K a month, but then there's also the person who is worthy of sustaining and hitting that and operating at that level. Because you can be a crypto bro, make a shit ton of money, and then not actually have it be outside of your control. Whereas Trina gives you back that sense of control. And it's a very healthy form of it because it allows you to make decisions because you have all the information or as much information or more information as needed to actually inform that. So in terms of the future goals, obviously you're going to be continuing working with Trina. Obviously you're going to be joining every call and defending what's this back and forth. 5 years time, I imagine me still being in contact with you because like currently is because like there's no reason why you wouldn't when someone who's played such an integral part of my journey as fast as it's been. All credit to you, yeah, like a lot of credit to you, essentially. Um, there's no reason why you wouldn't want to like let that relationship go and not let that thrive. So if you want something similar and you're missing that in your entrepreneurial journey, then 100% just work with Trina. Just makes sense.
Thank you so much. Oh,
No worries.
thanks for coming on, Jordan.
That's
Telling the
right.
crowd about
Peace.
what it's
See you
like to
guys.
work with me. Bye.